Breaking glass is an interesting thing, right? So the evolution of most of these growth stories goes like this. You come up with a product that is your core MVP, and you go to market in a broad fashion, and you get initially most of these will see product-led growth where you've hit on a certain gap in the market and there's people interested and it comes in. Eventually, that comes to a point where you've kind of hit the plateau on the product-led growth, or you're approaching the plateau on it. And the key is to be able to watch for those well in advance. And sometimes all three things need to happen, but at least one of the kickers need to be there. One, either you find an adjacent space to your core MVP, which is very rich, which a few of your, how do I call them? The second thing is really understanding what your go-to-market needs to be and transitioning from the product-led growth to a sales-led growth mechanism. Now, that's where the pendulum happens. The back and forth happens a lot because you're not 100% sure on exactly where to place the bets when that happens. And you got to almost build a mechanism which is within your go-to-market organization, you are experimenting. So the first mechanism is you look for adjacent areas where you can grow from a product perspective, and then you double down on that. The second mechanism is really you look at a geographical expansion angle, and you can use partners and affiliates, and you build. The key is you have to build that ecosystem early. And even there, the last piece of it is, and it's not something that is very obvious to people when you look at it, when you start doing this, but the last piece of it is, have you really built the feedback mechanisms from the field back into it? The combination of all of those is how I would look at building the key kind of indicators for me to be able to know how to scale these businesses. And that helps you break the glass, because otherwise your typical mechanism becomes you're going in, you're basing it off whoever is your loudest customer, and you're kind of like following that path because they are the ones who are asking for it, and that usually leads you to a dead end.